Yes. Can you guys hear me? Yes, everyone. How you all doing today? Thank you for joining me tonight for a Q&A live stream. And, you know, like throughout the summer periods, I'm just looking to do a lot more of these. Of course, I hope you guys are watching the England game in the background too. Naturally, I've got the game on behind me right now. Interesting game so far. Of course, you guys feel free to share your thoughts and opinions. But, you know, I can imagine that was also wondering what is happening with these deals. You know, what's happening with Dembele? What's happening with QnA? When are we going to start to see signings, considering that City signed Haaland already? Liverpool getting close to signing Darwin Núñez as well. So even Man United's coming close to signing Frankie de Jong. It's not making any sense right now. But that's normally how the summer window tends to be, you guys. So of course, today for the next hour, I'm here to answer any of your questions. And of course, naturally, you guys, of course, if you want your questions prioritized, and you want to support the channel as well too, of course, feel free to send a super chat as well too. But anyway, I'm gonna start with answering some of your questions right now. But before we get into things, you guys, it's been a minute since I've streamed, so just let me know if like my audio is good, everything's running fine, everything's running calm. I hope it is, to be honest. So yeah, man, great to see everyone here. Alex, yes, Alex, Nini with the high work rate. Not gonna lie, you guys have been very motivating for this summer as well too. Obviously looking to level up just completely, not only just in the channel but with my life as well too. Like, you'll never understand what I'm drinking right now. You see this green concoction here? Are you actually seeing this? I don't know if you guys know this doctor on YouTube. He's a sick doctor. What's his name? Doctor, I need to put you guys on, to be fair. Yeah, Dr. Eric Berg. Dr. Eric Berg. This guy is an absolute G. This guy's an absolute don. He put me onto this drink. It's got like kale, water, kefir. If you guys don't even know what that is, it's like some cultivate yogurt or something, and some blueberries as well too. So I'm literally just religiously drinking this every single day. It's supposed to be like good for like your gut health and shit like that. And I know gut health is like the most popular thing. But obviously, you might be wondering why I'm starting off this stream with this type of tangent, but you know, as you get older, you guys, you know, these little details like, you know, your gut health, your body, like you start to prioritize the importance a lot more as you get older. So in case you guys want to get put on a course, recommend that you guys go to Dr. Eric Berg, sick doctor. But without wasting any more time now, let's start with the first question. Asia, what are you telling me right now? Should we change back to a back four for better attacking output? For me, I think it's really simple, man. Back five for the big games, because in the big games we compete under Tuchel. Like, the way we play is absolutely crazy. Last season we got so desperately unlucky, 2 penalty shootouts against Liverpool, but considering how other teams really struggle to even be able to like put up a fight and cope with Liverpool, the fact that me personally, I feel like we even were slightly better than them in every single game we played under Tuchel, tells me that, okay, big game wise, we're fine. We can compete against any team. It's the smaller teams that I have a problem against, because with the talent we have, you know, when you're picking up points against the big boys and it's not correlating with the small ones, it's not making too much sense. So for me, best of both worlds, back five for the big games, back four for the smaller games. But anyway, I got my first super chat. Respect to Zero Chaps, man. Appreciate that, bro. What signings will bring us 4-3-3? It's quite interesting, my friend. Obviously, we're all waiting for the developments surrounding Ousmane Dembele. Of course, talks have been held. Now, yeah, I'm going to probably trust H. Grimes. He's saying that he's already kind of agreed to terms. I'm sure he has. I'm sure that he's, you know, happy with the contract presented to him. But Barcelona, even though they're growing warier and warier and tired about, you know, whether Dembele is going to actually remain with them. You know, they've presented countless offers. There's one on the table still, but there's not much confidence behind it. It is starting to look like probably once this month ends, we're going to see even more developments around Dembele, especially in the final weeks of this month. So it'd be very exciting. But for me, I do think that he'll probably be our guy. And, you know, Dembele is a very interesting player. You know, Tuchel rates him so highly. At Dortmund, he was used in an abundance of ways. He was used as like a cam. You know, like, what was that game we played under Tuchel when we had like, it was like a back three. I think Gilmore was at the pivot and then like two wide eights. He's used Dembele in that role. He's used him in central positions and out wide on either flank too. A player like this can play absolutely everywhere, and you know he'll upgrade us for sure. Do I think he can play 60 games plus? Absolutely not. But that's why the squad's there. That's why there's a 5 sub rule for next season as well too. For me, the key thing is going to be to keep him fit and sharp for every big game, because for me, he can make a big difference. So I think Dembele, man, he could allow us to do a lot of things. And of course, some of the other attacking players we're looking at too could be quite interesting. But anyway, Ishmael Farrar, how are you, man? Nini, what are your opinions on our links so far this window? The players look flexible to play a back 4 and a back 5. My friends, I absolutely agree with you. That's why I feel a bit optimistic and a bit hopeful that next season we are going to see a best of both worlds. I think it's just the most logical thing. Like, most of the squad can already do that already. Now that a lot of guys have left the team, I feel like this is the perfect window now to restructure and build that team that can do both. I think that's what Tuchel's always liked. He's a manager that updates the system, not the system, but the formation and tweaks the strategy depending on the opponents we play. So for me, if he could build a squad that's able to literally cope against any type of team tactically, I mean, we got glimpses of that in his first 6 months when he was with us, of course, winning the Champions League, and just like the uplift in form. I think if the business gets sorted, Todd Bowley's here to back his boy as well too. I think they're looking quite smart, to be fair, man. But anyway, got another super chat in. Guedo Bar, how are you, man? What do you think is more important to us, a new DM or a new forwards? Personally, man, I think it will have to be probably it's quite hard. I think they're both a priority right now. We know that a lot of guys are leaving in attack, so that's definitely a priority. Clubs are looking to sign big attacking players right now. I'm looking at certain players that I'm liking. I'm looking at Nkunku. Oh, great save then from Pickford. All right. That was a top save from him then. Obviously, sorry to just interrupt, but yeah, I just think that maybe getting the attacks is probably key, and I think we can probably this time have a bit more flexibility now when it comes to, like, you know, replacing positions deeper. But I think priority really is defense first. That's definitely the priority from. Oh my lord, sorry about that, you guys. My Hoover just literally fell down beside me. That is so peak. It better not be broken. My bad. But obviously priority is defense. Then I'd probably say maybe then attack second and midfield is third, because we've got quite a lot of options there, and it really depends on who's going to stay or go. I mean, if Rice was to come, it's going to depend on whether Jorginho might leave or maybe someone else might leave. So, you know, I think midfield is like the least important thing at this point in time. But anyway, thank you, bro, for the super chat. I appreciate that. Moving on now to Jonathan. With Declan Rice, we can do 4-3-3 also. Yeah, we can. And we can do back 5 as well too, because he can play in the pivot. So that's a very interesting option to have for me for next season. One of the best mids in the Premier League. I mean, I think he's proven himself enough now at West Ham. And personally, I do think that if we were potentially to sign him, I think that maybe some of the doubters would maybe feel very different after seeing him live more. But anyway, moving on to Salou Kamara. And Nkunku is signing a new contract, by the way. Yeah, that's what we keep hearing a lot of times. But at the same time, we still acknowledge that he knows there's big interest in for him. Money talks. Ultimately, money talks. I'm hearing figures of if Leipzig would present maybe like a 70 mil offer, they could potentially budge, because why would they not do that? That's a hell of money that they could generate. Moving on though, Abhishek, how you doing, man? Why don't we focus on creative midfielders? I think the creativity actually comes from the like the attacking players and the wing backs. The midfield's not really, its sole purpose isn't to necessarily bring that. Moving on to Nelvin. Which deals do you believe are most likely to happen? Currently, I think Koundé, Dembele are the favourites for me. Other than that, a lot of options, a lot of players, a lot of targets right now. Obviously, Tuchel, Bowley, they're prioritising who the main ones are going to be. I'm just waiting for news, like with the official bids to be made now. I think this month, as I've been trying to like reiterate throughout this entire month, it's about you know, getting those targets on the list, and then I think probably from next month it's going to be on focusing on, you know, who to buy and, you know, who to prioritize. So, you know, we only have like what, maybe 3 weeks until that happens. But anyway, we move on to Firas B. Thank you, bro, for the super chat. I appreciate that, man. Answering your question right here. Nini, Please keep the videos coming. I would like to hear your thoughts on Wolves left back Nouri. I've watched him a couple games and I believe he's a great option as backup for Ben for sure. I think he's a very, very good player. Of course, before Wolves even signed him, he put in a top season in Ligue 1. Who did he play for in Ligue 1 again? Who did he play for? It's literally lost my mind. But he announced himself big in Ligue 1. I think obviously his first season in the Premier League, he had to adapt. But the guy is still a teenager. I think last season in particular, he really grew even more. I think he's a very exciting prospect, to be honest. We have to see what he does. But I also think Ian Maatsen is quite exciting. Let's find out if he maybe stays with us or maybe goes to Dortmund on loan. But I definitely like how you're thinking, man. Ait Nouri for sure is definitely an option to look at for the future. I don't think there's like too many like incredible left backs compared to maybe right backs in the Premier League. So I think like keeping your mind open, casting your eye open on like the next big thing is definitely a smart thing to do, man. But anyway, moving on to Dan O'Flaherty. Oh, bro. O'Flaherty, my bad. How can I just literally disrespect your surname like that? Apologies, man. Moving on, Nini, my G. How's it going, bro? Which signing are you most excited for out of the targets we are linked with? There's a few good targets. I think maybe my favorite two, I'd have to say, might be Nkunku. And I might have to say Dembele as well, too. Actually, Gabriel Jesus, I can't even lie to you. I think Gabriel Jesus, I've always liked him. I've always thought he's always kind of been unlucky at Man City. But the way this guy presses from the front, the way he's built up, I think he's a guy that, you know, scores match-winning goals as well, too. I think if you have that ability to step up potentially to, like, really fulfill your potential, there are little details I want to see in your game. And I do think that if maybe Jesus was afforded that, you know, that type of support behind him of, look, you're my main man. I don't even care if you go like 3 games without scoring a goal. I believe in you. I think would have blown up even more. But at 25 years old, I think leaving Man City now is probably the best thing for him. And for 43 million, that's the guarantee price for a player that regularly gets double digits. You know what's actually funny? A guy on the channel gave a great comparison, comparing Jesus to like Solomon Kalou. Now, Kalou, for me, I thought he was actually quite underrated at Chelsea. Like, his dribbling was very good. The way he was, he had that nice dribbling style. Obviously, the ball on the outside of his foot. Regularly getting past his man. Regularly getting us a lot of pens. And regularly getting double digits in goals as well, too. So, I think with Jesus, you're guaranteed to at least get that from like a squad basis. Or he has the potential to step up even more. So, for that price, I feel it's decent business. Anyway, moving on to Baith. Hey Nini, can you please turn up your mic? Thanks. Apologies for that, you guys. I'm turning it up right now. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. To be fair, I did actually ask you guys if the audio was fine. So that's on you. No, I'm joking. My bad for that. Moving on though. I hope my audio is sounding a lot better right now. Okay. Let me find one. Tomlin, if you're doing a Chelsea career modes, who do you sign? You know what? I've actually got a video planned. I'm looking on doing like a predicted. You know, every summer I normally do that big predicted lineup 11. I don't know why the views always blow up for that. Obviously, I always like try and spend a bit more like time with that one, a bit more TLC with that one. You guys can probably get an impression of some of the players I like. I don't want to bait it out too much, but obviously stay tuned for the video when it drops, probably sometime at the end of the month. Moving on though to Sean, how you doing, man? Nkunku over Jesus. Nkunku is our missing piece in the attack. I think Nkunku is an incredible player. And the fact that Thomas Tuchel knows him, he's worked alongside him, and the way that he's developed the RB Leipzig, put in a top season last year. I don't know how many man of the match awards did he win? How many player of the month awards does he win? Like easily Bundesliga's best player last season. I think he has everything. I feel like a lot of times maybe if we are like judging players, we take the comps a bit too serious, you know? If you're going to like judge Nkunku solely by the comps you're seeing, you're going to get maybe Timo Werner vibes. And it was kind of funny. Yesterday I put out my tweet saying Nkunku's nothing like Werner. I was not expecting to blow up whatsoever, but that's kind of like my life on Twitter, to be fair. But, Nkunku is very technically gifted. I think we got glimpses with that, with his finishing ability, 1v1, which is key. The guy's very flexible, and for me, he's in that same mode of your Kai Havertz, your Mason Mount. So if we were to play maybe a big game, I don't know how potentially you could be looking at. You may be looking at Nkunku. You may be looking at, Mount or Kai, depending on who wins that spot at the time. And then Dembele, but, we've got 5 subs next season. could it even matter who really starts the game, knowing that you could change things up and just switch things on an instant just like that? Maybe it might not really matter. And for someone like Tuchel to have 5 subs, it is going to be interesting. It definitely will be. But I think Nkunku's a top player. Of course, after like the start of obviously last year, when I was hearing some of the hype around him, that's why I like to follow players, monitor them, see what they're doing, get an impression on them. Of course, BT Sport is showing Bundesliga games as well too. So from what I've seen of this guy, I think he definitely has that potential. I'm not gonna lie. But moving on to Alves Gomez. Any chance on you knowing the unnamed centre back on our shortlist reported by Simon Phillips? My guess would be Salisu. That's an interesting one. Salisu obviously plays on the left-hand side, left-footed. I feel like if Rudiger's going in the market for a left-footed defender is a no-brainer right now. I'll be real with you, I don't know who it is at all. But maybe one report that I literally saw like maybe a few weeks back, maybe a month back, whatever, for Kayash.net is not necessarily like the go-to one for like premium news and sources, but I think we're the only ones really to report that, you know, we have potentially maybe kept an eye on Mark Gueye. So could an educated guess be Mark Gueye is a solution? Because, you know, he went to Crystal Palace and he, I think, has really proven that he's like one of the best young centre-backs in the country, becoming England international as well too. I think, guys, he's a very good player who's going to get even more praise and hype in the following seasons. But moving on. Kimpembe or Koulibaly by turn. Matoins. Apologies, man. I think we'd have to be... it's a hard one. Obviously, Kimpembe has worked alongside Tuchel, so he knows exactly what the manager wants from him. He knows exactly how to play. And listen, I know every now and then we might use some of the moments in the CL against Kimpembe, but actually when you watch this guy play, he's incredibly accomplished. He's a French international player. He moves the ball very, very well. You know, he's really kickstarting a lot of attacks. So either one really is not a bad player. I think Koulibaly as well too, top guy. He's been needing a big move for a while. Bit of a shame that he's been getting priced out at Napoli, but I think they're both top players. Moving on to Harrison Scott, I think Kilman or Fofana. Fofana, he's got a lot of potential, but of course, being out for a while, I don't know. I still don't think he's as imposing enough just yet, to be fair. Like, he's one of those defenders where probably the stats on paper is calm, but then when you actually watch him in-game, you know, he'll probably, like, make a rash decision or maybe, you know, mistime the jump or make a mistake. And I think maybe against super aggressive defenders that isolate in 1v1, I don't think he's necessarily like super imposing, but you get that confidence when you see a defender, you get that confidence when it's like, yo, I know he's gonna win his battles. You know, like Rudiger. I mean, the confidence I was getting from this guy. I mean, he's the only guy I've seen literally just keeps Lar in his pocket. Incredibly tight, incredibly aggressive. Obviously, I can't say, you know, Fofana's still very young. He's not on that level just yet. Rudiger wasn't even on that level when we first signed him. We keep forgetting that. You know, it took him many seasons, and we saw the very best of Rudiger over these past 18 months. But I just think that, you know, if we're looking at defenders that are going to probably come in and, you know, maintain that quality, I just don't think Fofana's that guy right now. To be fair, yeah, cool. Leicester City had a great season that year when he was getting a lot of hype. But Leicester going to be getting what? You know, European spots every single season. I'm not too sure, to be honest, and I think that could maybe affect how certain players might get seen in the future. But I think for now, he needs to stay there another season, get consistent minutes, you know, play consistently after having that horrendous leg break, and then we can see what happens. Because, you know, you've got guys like Silva, who's not going to be around here forever. And let's say hypothetically, Chalobah's like, you know, I'm getting a bit sick and tired of being a squad player. You know, I'm getting offers from elsewhere right now. We'll probably be in the market for another defenders in the future. So I just don't think Fofana's a guy for right now. But anyway, moving on, you guys. Okay, Jack Tank 76. What about Nini at left centre back for Rudiger's replacement? You know, unfortunately, I don't have a left foot, man. And you know what, man, I used to like play ball as well too. I was never really a defender. Like, I was more of like a, you know, like when I was young, I used to play up front. And then obviously I used to play a little bit deeper, like as in midfields. I played like a bit of a ball winning midfield role at times. Then I kind of moved further up as well too. But my playing days are well behind me. Moving on to Abdullah. Nini, what young players are you most interested for? I don't even think we're really linked with that many young players at this point in time, are we? Nothing's really like coming to mind instantly right now. I'm not even too sure if Tuchel really cares too much about young players. I'm hearing a few things about maybe how certain man could be leaving once the summer window is over. I hear like Webster, Susat Bell, Vale potentially, a few guys. So we've got to see what happens. But moving on to the next super chat, Ian O'Connell. Ian, as every stream, you're always giving me a little bit of love and support, and I really appreciate it, man. What's up, bro? What are your thoughts on sacrificing signing a striker this summer and waiting to re-sign Abraham next summer? Ooh, that's an interesting one. That really is. If we were to get the business done up front for this summer, though, potentially would there even be a spot in the future for Abraham? That's how I'm starting to feel right now. It does feel like whoever leaves will get instant replacements, and it does seem like in the market, particularly this summer, maybe it's a bit easier to sign attacking players now, where a few of these guys on the list, Dembele, Jesus, these guys are available right now. You could probably secure both of them realistically, and Kunku's a bit more ambitious, but is he going to be as difficult as trying to target Erling Haaland? Absolutely not. And I think, if you come in with a serious offer quite early, you're probably going to tempt RB Leipzig potentially. And who knows what they do with that money, but they have a great habit of being able to replace their players every single time. So they'd have nothing to worry about, in my opinion. But Abraham, I'm not too sure. I think if we were to potentially sign, I don't know, like a dream window, I don't know, what Dembele, I guess, let's say Jesus or Nkunku or someone, I feel like we'd be like maybe slowly moving away from that typical number 9. I think Tuchel's worked with like 4 now. He's worked with Giroud, Abraham, Lukaku, and I'd say Timo Werner. None of these guys have really exploded because I don't think they naturally complement what Tuchel's trying to do right now. So I just think that I can't really imagine Abraham coming back unless potentially Tuchel was to go and a new manager comes in and wants something different. But yeah, thanks for sending the super chat, man. Really appreciate that. I need to find the next one now. Young Lil Papi. Papi. Do you prefer Pulisic to be sold before Werner and Ziyech? People actually prefer to sell a 23-year-old before 2 players are older and not improving. I think you kind of answered my question for me, bro. So I appreciate that one. Thank you for saving me a lot of time. Freddie Ford, Tuchel definitely needs to realise better that we have what we have in the academy and utilise them better. We can't be using youngsters like Webster and Vale. I think realistically that probably is going to be the case because the players we're looking to sign, I can't really see a situation where any youth will get opportunities. And you guys know me over the years. I'm very much about using them, but I don't want to like constantly talk about like a losing battle in that sense. I feel like Tuchel right now is really prioritizing, building the first team and winning. But Chelsea fans, we've seen managers with this mentality quite a lot of times, and I just think that over the few signs we've seen of last season, in particular, the final 2 games of the season where we secured our position, not one of these guys even got 5 minutes. I mean, you see things like that, that really gives you a big, that tells you a lot about maybe how the manager views some of the players. Not even about them not being good enough, but just where his priorities tend to lie more. Let's say if Tuchel was here long term, I'd imagine in the future he'd probably do that. But it depends if we were to get like another golden generation. I think this is where maybe for some of us, this is how we kind of see it, You're not guaranteed to be getting a conveyor belt of talent every single year. The fact that we've been producing so much really is a luxury, but it shouldn't be, the norm. It shouldn't be expected every single time. Is it any surprise that a lot of like the mature like youth grads that left, like your Lampteys, Liv Ramontos, and so many more, I've done bits instantly playing first team football? No. Because I think this is just a generation we produce that really is that good. And there's been lots of times over Tuchel's 18 months where, he could have relied upon like a Livra, relied upon other players to use to give opportunities and give them that faith that they're going to play. And it's never really happens. Even some of the guys on loan, like you told Andrew and Gilmore, like, stay with me, you might get your chance. They never got barely any, to be honest. And this is why young players now aren't waiting, because the thing is, this is the reality. If we were in their same positions ourselves, if we know we're good enough to be playing instantly, like top division football, are we going to waste our time waiting for the manager to give us like 5 minutes you know, like maybe in the second half of the season? Absolutely not. You're going to move on now. That they know they're that good. They're getting interest from when they're 16 years old. You know, like for example, Reece James, RB Leipzig were over him a lot to try and entice him. They know that they'll get minutes instantly because that's the reputation we've built about, you know, the quality we're constantly producing. So who knows? Maybe it'll be a situation like how you see with like Real Madrid and stuff, where, you know, you've got the buyback options where it's like, listen, you know, we can come back in for you in the future. I think that's probably going to be the play for now with a lot of these guys leaving. But I think realistically, the priority isn't really to be giving minutes to any 18-year-olds right now when you're, you know, trying to come, you know, fight against Man City, Liverpool. I think you can do both, especially now with 5 subs, but I just don't think that's Tuchel's priority, to be fair. Moving on to David William Bushnell. Hey, David, and thank you for the £10 super chat, man. Appreciate that. You're an absolute legend. I love watching your videos, and I'm absolutely buzzing to see who Chelsea will sign in the summer. This project is going to be something big for all Chelsea fans. It really is. It really is. You know, I'm getting similar vibes to like when Mourinho, when he first signed for us, when we signed like your Cavalios, Ferreiras, Didier Drogba's, all these types of guys as well. The second time when you got like Diego Costa, Fabregas, you know, Matic, all these big name players that instantly came in. Tuchel's got an amazing opportunity now where, you know, I guarantee every Chelsea manager wishes to be in this position where you've got money to blow, tons of spaces available in the squad to replace the players with ones you like specifically because the owners fully trust and back you to make the executive decisions on who's going to be coming and leaving. This is a massive opportunity, and I feel like with this summer window, will definitely be like a Thomas Tuchel squad and a Thomas Tuchel team, just like how we had like the Mourinho teams before that really, you know, helped us a lot when Mourinho left and other managers came in. These players were so good. They were just basically winning games on themselves still. Like Avram Grant, do you think he had to do much when he was coaching Ballack, Lampard, Drogba and co? Absolutely not. He's just doing an Ancelotti. He's just on the sideline with his cigar, just chilling, you know, maybe giving a little frown every now and then, and not doing much, to be honest. So yeah, I think it should be quite exciting, and I'm just looking forward to the final week of this month in July. I think July, a lot will happen. I don't imagine us getting every player signed before preseason. Absolutely not. The reality is, man, it's sanctions have cost us. I think this is something, I mean, this has to be accepted, you know. It's real life, it's reality. I'm not really finding the best selection of words to be able to like really explain what I'm trying to say, but I'm just hoping you guys get my sentiment. You know, the sanctions killed a lot of things. I mean, we know that Tchouaméni, the efforts for him kind of died because the sanctions stopped us doing anything. And it's just like, you might be thinking, okay, you know, sanctions, for example, of course, we're still talking to players, what's stopping us? The thing is, you know, how can you assure anyone when the future of the club was in a very like precarious situation? You can't do that. So you can't really negotiate. You can give a lot of promises, but then it's not really going to count when other clubs can give guarantees. So I think that's where maybe we could get screwed over, but I'm just praying at least we get a few man signed to have a pre-season, because too often players need too much time to really adjust and adapt because they don't have that key period where you've got like 6 to 7 weeks, whatever, to really just learn the system properly. There's a reason why pre-season is so important, because when the Premier League season's starting and ongoing, you're traveling here, there, you're playing 3 games a week. Where's the time to go and training to, you know, work on tactics and selections? You don't really have that. So this is where preseason comes into play, and I hope Bowley and Tuchel get things right. Hopefully Koundé, hopefully Dembele are the guys to come in straight. Hopefully Jesus, hopefully a few others as well soon. But you got to see what happens, man. But I appreciate that, David. Thanks a lot, man. Moving on to Charlie Mahoney CFC. Nini, how much money do you reckon we could get off the Rice deal if Broja was used as a player plus cash deal? Keep hustling, my guy. Appreciate that, man. Bro is a very popular guy, like all across Europe as well too. It does seem like, from the reports I'm seeing, the valuation's between 30 to 40 mil, which I think is quite fair. I kind of get a lot of like young Diego Costa vibes from Broja. I think for sure he's definitely one of those players to really keep an eye on and keep a close inspection on. The reason why I don't want him to come back next season, even though he could if we don't get deals done, but the reason why I don't want him to come is that I think when you're young like this, you know, there's more benefits playing consistently. I think Broja, if he's with us, let's say he misses a big chance or two in a game, would you see him play next week? Probably not. And I think that's when that can affect development a lot more compared to being at Southampton, where you can have your off games, but you're still learning something even if you're struggling. You know what I mean? That's the important thing. So I think Breuer needs a bit more time, personally, before we rely upon him, especially when I need to get some final ideas of like how the attack is going to be under a Thomas Tuchel team. So we move on. Got some more super chats. Thank you, Ketsa. Ketsa, I really appreciate it. You are the boss. You're the best boss. You are the Pope of YouTube, the Lion of YouTube, Savannah. Words are not enough to qualify you. Bro, I'm just a regular guy. I'm really just a regular guy. But obviously, I appreciate the sentiment, man. Obviously, you know what I mean. But to be fair, I'm not really a guy that has ego like that. To be fair, I don't really see myself in any type of light, to be honest. But I appreciate the very kind words, man, and I'm glad that you're enjoying the content. David Bower, oh, no super chat. Apologies for that. I'll try and find your question in the comment section. I'll keep an eye out. Maybe we can like highlight something as well too. But in case anyone sends super chats, just double check that your question is literally put in there first before sending paid. But I appreciate that. Moving on to, let me find another one. Okay, Freddie Ford. If we sell Breuer, we'd have to include a buyback clause. It would be incredible if we could help secure Rice. I think potentially that makes a lot of sense. We've done bits with West Ham over the years. I don't think we have a terrible relationship with them whatsoever. If they like one of our players and that can help us bring down the Rice price, I think maybe potentially might have to take that little sacrifice. Moving on though to Zach. Bro, I'm going to be graduating today. Yes, Zach. Big respect, bro. Graduation day, big day. Make sure you're taking some elite photos and pics. You'll be looking back on these pics your whole life, yeah? Your whole life. So make sure the smile is gleaming today. Make sure you're taking photos with everyone as well too. Big congrats, man. Really proud of you. Moving on though to MB7. MB7, yes, MB7. Always in a stream. I don't think we need a rebuild, only a few key additions. Tuchel is going to set us back years by selling our youth and attacking talent. None of them want to play in that system. I think, you do have an argument. I think that could be a bit valid. But I just think the reality is, these guys are so good now that they just don't want to wait for anything. And why should they? In football, how many other players who maybe aren't as great get first team exposure from a young age? I think when you've got top potential and talent, the quicker you play, the better you're going to be. And I don't know, could there be a time in the future where maybe one window is dedicated to re-signing back common grads? Would it be a surprise? I don't know. But, when you got like options on Tammy, or, on Guy, on a few of them as well, I think it's quite interesting. But moving on to Kelechi, how are you? What about the Bastoni links? Are the club officials still interested in that option? Oh, and PA Snini, one love from your bros in Nigeria. Respect, man. But I think obviously this whole situation with Lukaku and a possible player exchange, I think I need to wait maybe like another week or two to get an idea of, who could be the main targets. I think everything's still kind of up in the air. Everything's still being brainstormed at this point in time. Dumfries is all right, but I don't know. Involving him in the deal, I'm not too sure. I think I saw a report, which I'm going to maybe speak about in tomorrow's video, about Inter Milan offering like 12 million instead of like 25 million euros for the loan fee, and Lukaku has to take a big hit on his wages and contract as well too. I think this situation is going to take a ton of twists and turns, so I'm not too sure. Do I feel as confident that guys like Bastoni and Martinez don't really want to leave? It doesn't entice me that much. But I just think we have to kind of wait. So I don't know. I can't give you the best answer on this right now, man. But moving on to Harrison Scott. Thoughts on Slonina? Of course, Slonina obviously had to do a little bit of research to find out what he was about, what he's saying. I trust the club when it comes to sporting talent 100%. It's a different conversation when it comes to cultivating that talent. But when it comes to sporting talent, they're always the club that knows who the best next players are. A lot of confidence around Slonina. The fact that Real Madrid tried to sign him, and of course it seems like they failed in their efforts. So it says a lot about how he's seen in coaching circles and what his potential is saying. I think we were close to signing him anyway before the sanctions kicked in. I think we proposed potentially like a 2-year loan deal at Chicago Fire to keep him there. probably before going in Europe and testing himself there. But you know, you could take inspiration from Courtois. He seems like a guy with big potential, great handling, great command of his books as well too. You know, nice key signs you want to see from a young goalkeeper. So we signed Lenina. I'll be very interested to see how he's developed and where he potentially goes. But moving on, me, myself, and I, why are we wasting time to extend Mount and Reece James' contracts? I'm not too sure if we can say we're wasting time right now, considering that, you know, things are only just literally starting as we're speaking. So a lot will happen. I'd imagine, you know, I have to go off reports I was reading from Matt Law before, you know, that Bowley wants to secure, you know, Mendy, Kante, Mount, Reece James. So I don't think they'll waste too much time in doing that. I know there have been some conflicting reports though, but I can only go off like the guys I trust when it comes to like, you know, breaking certain stories like this. Reece, I know that Reece James has a few more years left, but it wouldn't make sense to have him wait and make him a bit unhappy when I think the commitment now of listen, if Reece James was fully fit throughout the season, I think he's easily our player of the season and our player of the year, easily, because just watching him for that consistent quality he plays with every single week, I feel like the guy puts in 8 out of 10s every single week, and to be doing that young, yeah, I think it's easily one of the best ever players that's come out from Cobham. I think the guy is just outstanding, to be honest. But moving on to Fleek 10. Hey Nini, how do you think of adding guys to the squad with Premier League experience? I think I can always help accelerate what you want to do in the league. Not everyone, of course. Some good options available though. I'm looking at guys like Rice. I do think Rice is a very good player. I mean, watching him grow for time, and I mean, he's really improved in a lot of areas that a lot of people have concerns in. So I think he's ready. I think Jesus is some smart options. Sterling, you know, if we sign Sterling, I'm not going to be you know, releasing a video, you know, Brexit 2, what's Sterling doing here, blah, blah, blah. It won't be nothing like that. But just my own personal preference, I want to see someone a bit more exciting. I might be signing very rude. I'm not trying to downplay the player. I think he's still doing a job here. But he's very much like, when I watch him, I'm gonna speak of my objective truth, my subjective truth. But I just like seeing exciting players. You know, I think Sterling's very functional, and I think in a system like how we play, we'll probably do well. But I want a bit of excitement for my player, and I think with certain options available, I'd rather target them personally, to be honest with you. Moving on to Brenton Brown. What I think we need is to use Breuer and Kai up front to see who can work with the striker. Okay, I hear you, but I'd have to say I disagree, because, you know, we have all these strikers that Tuchel's had over the past 18 months, and not once has he ever used them with Kai Havertz. I can't see Breuer playing up front with Havertz being a thing, really, if Lukaku and Havertz rarely even play in the same teams together, and they're both our record signings. We're the only club where record signings find themselves in and out of the team and don't find themselves playing together. This summer, for spending big, I want to make sure these are players that are looking to do something and bring something new. That's what I need to see. You know, when City and Liverpool spend big money, these are players that guaranteed to improve the team. You know, that's what I want to see. And we still have a, you know, inconsistency in this area. But you guys, just give me 1 second. Take a little bit of a smoothie break right now. Okay, moving on. Of course, you guys, you want your question prioritized. You know what the super chat button is. I can spend more time on your question. Moving on to Kian Connolly. Yo, Nini, what's up? Love your content. Can you tell us what your dream transfer window is? Like I said before, I'm going to be releasing, you know, every time I release my big, you know, predicted lineup 11 video for the new season. I don't want to spoil anything, otherwise it will be a dead watch, you know what I mean? So just stay tuned. That will be probably coming out before the end of the month, so you'll find out soon. But if you've been watching my videos, you can probably get a bit of an impression on some of the guys I like and who I'm really excited for. But let me go on. Okay, I'm gonna answer Paul Builder J. Even though you did kind of spam chat a bit, I'm in a very good mood today, in a very good mood. So I'm gonna answer your question, man. I like the dedication. Moving on, Nini, do you see us buying back to Mori and Sammy? And if so, Christensen if he had an absolute amazing season. I don't know if we'd see Christensen again, unless it's on like some Thiago Silva flex in the future, to be honest. Tomori and Tammy would be very interesting options to see. I mean, Milan looking very exciting. Very exciting now. Of course, winning the Scudetto. Renato Sanchez and other guys and coming in as well too. You know, if Serie A was to like blow up over the next like few seasons now, maybe Tomori wants to be an AC Milan legend because he knows the language and he's acclimatized very, very well. So who knows? Tammy Abraham, I just can't even think about his future right now. Of course, he had a big season, but realistically, it's next year when that's when we have to exercise the option if we want to see him come back, and that's 67 million. So I just think Tammy for now I can't even think about him because if we're not really linked with him now, after he just left us last season, I just don't see him coming back anytime soon at this point in time. But I've got to move on to Josiah Karte. Hi Nini, setting aside Lukaku situation, would you personally keep Lukaku? Obviously Lukaku wants to go. You guys know what I'm saying in my videos. He can go. Do I hate the guy? No, I don't. And, you know, of course, I'm going to speak my opinion. Yeah, of course, he kind of messed up a bit, but I'm not going to hold him onto that forever as if it's like you know, World War III that he caused and the craziest thing. I feel like a lot of the fears around that are maybe a bit hyperbolic now. You know, especially concerns about like dressing room dynamics and being a bad influence. I think that's always like the go-to like football opinion, and it just never ever happens. I mean, you know, football isn't like football squads aren't like, they don't have like classroom dynamics. Yeah, they're not that easily impressionable. I mean, they're all adults who have their own egos, and it's a very like testosterone fueled, you know, type of dynamic behind the scenes. So, you know, they're definitely not as fragile as that. And Lukaku doing an interview, yeah, the most that's gonna do is gonna turn a bit of heads, and a few man will be like, you know, what was that for? Then next week, no one cares. So if Lukaku flops, which I don't think can happen now, not with all this effort and the player wanting to go, and him and Tuchel not really, you know, both accepting that maybe they're not the best fit together in this relationship. I just think he has to go now, to be honest with you. But moving on to, you guys, I'm probably going to be on here for the next, how long have I been on here right now? I'm going to be on for like 17 more minutes. I've got a barbecue I'm going to later tonight, actually. So that's why I can't be on for too long. So unfortunately, there won't be any like 5 more minutes, and I'm here for like another 2 hours. But if you guys want to see more Q&A streams, just of course, you know what to do, man. Send the comments and of course, let me know. And I'll make this more regular then. But I do have another super chat from Casey Day. I appreciate that, man. Another regular view of the channel over the years. I remember the guys that have been watching me for time since day one. It's nice to know that you guys are still watching me after all this time. I can't believe like half a decade is it's a bit mad when you actually think about it. But Casey Day, how do you envision us fixing the lack of verticality in our attack? I know it was partly lacking due to Cover's fitness, yeah, but we avoid the middle like the plague. Everything comes from the wings. You're right. I've got a little bit of like a theory. I got to say theory because, you know, I got to maybe put more research into it, and I don't want to act like I'm the, you know, the guy who knows absolutely everything on football. I'm very much someone that's always looking to, you know, learn something new. And under Tuchel, of course, you're naturally just going to like pick up things and, you know, learn a lot more from him. But I kind of see it like this, like with Tuchel's system, yeah, the pivot essentially is like the trap. And they're the trap in that sense of like when the opposition team presses, the pivot was always like closer to the back five, not only for like protection as well against counterattacks, but also to encourage the opposition team to come onto them to press the ball. And that's when the, you know, the 3 centre backs are going to split wides. That's when the wing backs will then get triggered to push up as well too. And that's how we play around that. Now here's where my theory comes into place. In the Bundesliga, where I feel a lot of teams, they're not necessarily as happy to just, you know, sit back and defend as teams in the Premier League. I think in the Premier League, it's very much football where it's kind of like, you know, you attack, we defend, you attack. Teams aren't going to fall for that. And I think I noticed that actually straight away in the first game against Wolves, where they just literally parked the bus and sat deep and they didn't want to move. And that's what teams do. Now, I could be cynical and I could say, you know, for all the hype the Premier League gets, for all the money involved in the league, to kind of play like that with all, you know, when you're signing guys on big contracts who cost them big money, it kind of seems a little bit dead, in my opinion, because there's so much willingness to just sit deep and defend. That I just think that this is the main issue behind why we have struggled to break down teams. If we were playing the Bundesliga, we'd be having so much fun. And I think in the big games, this is why we're successful, because bigger teams aren't going to just sit back and defend unless maybe they have a lead to protect. And that's when we can kind of struggle to get back in the game. But I think this is where we need to see different tweaks and strategies done. I think that's why we start to see Tuchel having the wing backs inverted with the wide players wides. It had some successes with Hudson-Odoi and Ziyech, a particular part of the early season when we were seeing that. I think we could see a lot more of that. And I think with certain players we're looking at, like QnA, who I think could probably be an excellent right-sided centre-back. I know Trevor Chalobah is still going to be growing and improving. Had a very good debut season. Another guy you can rely upon. I'm sure we'll see a lot more of for next season as well too. I think it's a combination of making sure we have the right personnel playing. Because I honestly believe if certain guys like Ben and Reece James, let's say hypothetically they were here for the entirety of the season, I don't see us winning the league, but I see us closing that points gap even more. And I think we're able to then maybe break down teams a bit more. So with some of the solutions we're looking at, I want to see guys in tight spaces who don't act too functional. I feel like maybe some of the players can be a bit fearful because they don't want to maybe make mistakes and lose the ball and then have to run back, 30 yards to press and defend and do all that stuff, because that is tiring, that is draining. And, no team presses for 90 minutes. You're picking and choosing when you're going to apply that energy to closing down the team and doing that stuff. So I do think maybe certain players maybe a bit more confidence could be a great thing. Dembele he's always going to be a guy that's consistently going to beat his man and create havoc and create space. Reece James, we saw him really, show his dribbling abilities a lot more last season compared to the season before, where, he was regularly able to beat the press and help us up that field. With Ben coming back as well too, for me, we can maintain better offensive quality if we have just better players in the squad. If there's no Aspie playing wing back or Alonso, that means we're not going to play so slow out wides, and just having better guys in behind is going to make a big difference, if you know what I mean. Plus the addition of guys who are very good playing in tight spaces as well too. And I think if I see that this summer, then I think big things can happen, my friend. But anyway, that's just my little theory, guys. I wonder what you think of that. I know it's a very long-winded one. But anyway, moving on to Ian O'Connell again, showing me a lot of love today on a Saturday. I know you went outside, man, getting that vitamin D, enjoying the sunshine, just getting that energy boost. But anyway, keep the streams coming, man. Always very enjoyable. And maybe you could do a future stream again with Joe Tweedy. You know what? I'm going to take a quick photo of this so I can just let Joe know. Because I think it's got to be time soon. I think real soon that I got Joe Tweedy on. So he can give us all like a footballing lesson of what's happening right now and give us something new to learn to. So let me just get that pattern right here. Got my question mark sorted. Alright, cool. But Ian, appreciate that, man. And I got another super chat in from Street Legal. Thank you again, Street Legal, of course. Another guy that's been on the stream supporting since day. If you could hijack another club's transfer target that we're not linked to, who would you go for? You guys know what I'm going to say. But I got to tell you, one guy I really do like is Darwin Núñez. I'm sorry. There's just something about that Jurgen Grinter inside the guy. How he moves, how he shoots. That conviction behind how he plays as well too. I'm looking at all those intangible things. That's really exciting me. People acting like this guy's a worse version of Timo Werner is absolutely not the case whatsoever. Tactically, he was using a certain way to push him even more. I think it's the type of guy, though, because of the frame, how he plays, the strength, that he could definitely adapt if Tuchel wanted him to, and he would still do bits. Because here's the thing, you guys, if we're going to be having, let's say, like a front three or the back three system, one of these guys has to be making runs inside the box. You still need that anyway. Werner was doing that, but unfortunately, he just isn't the type of guy where if he only gets 1 or 2 chances in the game, he's going to bury that. But someone like Darwin Núñez, and I think he proved that in the Champions League last season, he doesn't need 50 million chances to score a goal. And I think that makes a difference. That type of conviction, knowing, okay, boom. I think that's what he shows. Obviously, going to Liverpool, I'm a bit annoyed, not gonna lie. I think he's a top player. He's replacing Mane, and yeah, I don't know. I think he's gonna be a bit of a problem and a handful when he goes to Liverpool, to be fair. And I think a lot of people are gonna turn their heads next season if Liverpool get it secured. But who knows if we come in with like an 11th hour bid. But to be honest, I'm not hearing too many links currently right now, and it seems like there's deep negotiations with like City and Liverpool leading that even more. And I don't know, like when's the last time we signed a guy from the Portuguese league? That league still produces players that play for the very best teams in the world. You know, we've seen what Man City did when they signed Ruben Diaz, for example, and how he's been like a colossus for them at the back. Of course, Diaz being the prime example, and this is a Diaz that we've only seen for 6 months. He'll get even better for next season. Now he's more acclimatized with the league, his teammates, the culture, probably life outside of things as well too. These are like the intangible things that do matter. So I think there could be an issue, and I think Darwin Núñez could be spot on for them, to be fair. But anyway, moving on. Tomlin, Anya, Jan, Nini, George Benson, or live stream. I think that'd be quite fun, to be fair, if we all just band out a stream together. It could be potential behind that. Tomorrow, maybe I can tell you guys right now, but I do have Eunice secured for a collab for tomorrow. We're going to be recording in the morning, so expect the video out sometime in the afternoon tomorrow. So you guys definitely stay tuned for that. Of course, Eunice talks football. Eunice has been the OG he was the first guy to ever make Chelsea content, if I remember. I think there was another guy as well too. I can't remember his name. They were the first two, but I think like Eunice was the first guy to properly make the first fan channel. He was the guy that actually started 100% Chelsea at the time as well too. He's been around for a very long time. You know, he's like the granddad of Chelsea YouTube in that sense. So nice that his channel has been blowing up recently after just putting in so much work over the years as well too. I think it'd be the video idea I got for tomorrow is going to be completely different. It's not going to be just like a weekly series thing, but it's going to be something new that I think you guys might like. So yeah, stay tuned for tomorrow, man. But anyway, moving on to Furk, Shapola. What about Gallagher? I think TT system doesn't suit me at all, and bring him would be a waste. Absolutely not. Here's one thing we can't do. Let's not take his times at other clubs like super literally, because we got to remember this here. When you go to another team, you got a different manager who's expecting different things from you in the system. Gallagher is a common DNA player. Our midfield players are taught to play in a 2, in a 3. They know how to move the ball forwards. Tuchel wouldn't have told the guy to remain last summer and wouldn't have been impressed by him last pre-season for nothing if he wasn't showing everything that he can do. For me, I kind of see like Gallagher as like our version of like Nico Barella. I think they're very similar players, and a lot of how they do, how they play, how they press, they're very positive as well too. And yeah, I think now, you know, now that English football is really producing a lot of good technical players that I've not really seen before. It's really changed my entire impression on all of them, to be honest with you. Like, even looking at the England game against Italy currently, I mean, how many Cotman grads are playing? Mount, Tammy, you know, Tamori, Reece James. I mean, for me, it's definitely something to be proud of for sure. Even Declan Rice as well too. I mean, come on, that's like 5 guys that's come from our academy. So it's nuts. It's nuts. But moving on to Kronostan. Joe Neil Zeka, that's it. Joe Zeka. Him and Eunice were the original guys at the start. It was them. But to be fair, a lot of this is what I found out afterwards. I came in pretty late. I think I came in literally after Chelsea fan channel. And I think I was like the first of like maybe the new like Chelsea guys to come onto YouTube, to be fair. But moving on. What's this juice I'm drinking? Don't judge me. Actually, nah. Bro, I'm trying to get very healthy these days. I feel like I've just been fat for too long, to be honest with you. I want to make sure when I'm an old man one day I can look back at my photos and be like, yeah, you see your old man. You see the guns man used to have when I was young. You see that six pack that I used to have back in the day. I'm sorry, before I leave this planet as an old man, I need to make sure that I had muscles once in my life. So I've been very dedicated recently. And I honestly, if I'm being real with you, I think the reason why my energy's really got even better now making videos and why the content's better is because I'm just feeling a lot better health-wise because I'm putting in serious work with that now. So this drink is kale, kefir, blueberries, water and some ice as well just to smooth it up. So the taste, hey, for me it doesn't really bother me at all. It's not that bad. It's like medicine basically. So it's supposed to be good for the liver and that. So I definitely need to So I'm religiously drinking this every day, basically. But moving on to Motion Khan. Yes, Motion, how you doing, man? Holland to City, Nunes, Liverpool. The gap gets bigger and bigger. We got to recruit smartly and build a team to challenge. With the money we have, what, 200 mil, 100 mil cash injection plus potentially more from player sales as well too. We could do bits in this window. That's a fact. We can do absolute bits in this window. But I don't want to give any promises that we're guaranteed to be properly mounting a title challenge. Especially after Tuchel said that he sees this more as like a rebuild because so many guys are leaving the squad right now. That could all change though. You know, a lot of times Tuchel likes to paint very realistic he likes to say underdog things. But the reality is, remember the famous example was against Real Madrid. After the game, he did not sound optimistic at all. I fell for that myself at the time. You're feeling pretty hopeless in the second leg, and then that 75 minutes we played was one of the best games of football I've seen, and it's such a shame that if it wasn't for those silly mistakes from him and certain players on the fields, we beat Real Madrid, and there's a reason why, they were literally thinking, how the hell did we actually bag this win in the end? Because we really, really played an outstanding game against them. But anyway, moving on to Peter Boeru. Hey Nini, happy to see that your channel is still going strong, man. Thanks for all the Chelsea updates, because you're always on point, bro. I appreciate that, man. Like, when I make content, I'm just trying to think, if I was a viewer, what do I want to see? I don't want to just hear like rambling opinions. I want things to be a bit more formatted. I want to, if I don't know about a player, I need to get some insight and examples about them. If I'm hearing stories, I want to hear how it connects to other stories that came out, and not just like having, like new opinions for every new thing that comes out with no like consistency. So yeah, I appreciate you guys are enjoying it, man. And I got to maybe be happy with myself too, because obviously putting a lot of work to be able to get the videos to this point, basically. But moving on to Kenroy. Borna Sosa, I like him. Yep, good player. Afro man, Carolyn, don't spam, bro. Yeah. Anyway, Carolyn, yeah, you're spamming a bit, but don't worry. I'll answer your question. Can we use Rice in that Marquinhos for that PSG when he sits in front of the back four and drops to create a back three when defending? Yes. Yes, Caroline, we can. We can do that, because Rice, the guy was playing as a centre-back as well before too. I think the Marquinhos example you used is a very good one. And just from you saying that, you can kind of already imagine how Rice could be used under Tuchel, and you can kind of see why Tuchel likes the player a lot too. I think he's one of the safest big money signings we could probably ever make. The safest one easily, because he already knows the club, already knows his teammates. They all kind of like him, want him here already. The manager already likes him, and he suits how he plays as well too. So, yo, it's exciting. But anyway, I just saw Tammy Abraham. The borders blasted off him from that one too. Anyway, moving on to Collins. Rafinha or Anthony, who would you sign? It would have to be Anthony, 100%. I think Rafinha, Ziyech, you guys might think I'm being a bit, saying some mad things right now. But I just, with how they play, if Ziyech was able to play the way that Rafinha is, he'd be seen differently in this league. And out of all the attacking players that can potentially stay or go, you know what? I'm kind of hoping Ziyech could stay. I think he's a good player that can bring something, but I'm not too sure at this point in time, to be honest with you. But moving on to Joseph MK, Dumfries or John Sterling. We have to see how preseason goes. I don't want to just be putting out my bads. But yeah, I don't want to be putting out just like any opinion. I think pre-season, when it starts, we get an idea, because hopefully it does seem like players will actually be able to show what they can do in pre-season before getting moved on straight away. It's kind of mad that we moved on Guy instantly before even letting him really have a pre-season. Like, we were too easy to sell him. But yeah, let's see what happens to some of these guys now for this summer. But moving on to Ravi. Thank you, Ravi Kumar, for the super chat, man. Has rival signings made fans panic already? Of course, you know what it's like, man. Football fans is a very emotional sport. So the emotion brings a lot of reaction and reactionary opinions. I felt like I was the first guy on Twitter to really just keep like going on about how reactionary things were, but honestly, I just think it's just a bit too much at times, because it's just like you can't ignore the reality of what we've just been through over these past few months. I'm sure you guys were getting sick and tired reading about all these updates over the takeover and stuff like that. We finally just recently got through that right now. So it feels a little bit misguided to maybe worry straight away and just react to rivals who haven't had any sanctions and have had plenty of time to be able to conduct business and get things done. So yeah, let's not panic right now. I guarantee if maybe let's say QnA comes in before the end of the month, which let's be realistic, if QnA comes in tomorrow or if QnA comes in the end of the month, doesn't really make a difference because there's no preseason. So it would just be an announcement for the sake of it. You know, it's not even any promotional activity as well too that you'd even see currently. So I just don't see what the point would be. I'd imagine that with, you know, new ownership with Bowley, we'll make a big deal, of course, as we naturally do when players get signed, and we're going to gas it up, we're going to market it up and promote it up. So yeah, I don't think there's anything to worry about at this point in time. Not when we've got money to blow and spend that we haven't even used a fraction of at this point in time. But moving on, Nini, thoughts on Tonali? Of course, big player. Yeah, this game has been an interesting game. Obviously, I've not been focusing on it as much, of course. But oh, that ball in behind. Oh, okay, that was a great pass then. But moving on to Vincent. What are your thoughts on the Neymar links? I don't really think there's many strong Neymar links. I mean, I've seen them, but I felt like I couldn't make... If I made a video on the Neymar links, I feel like I'd be taking the piss a little bit. I feel like I'd be... it would definitely be for the views, because I don't know what I'd even say. I'd just be... Oh, wouldn't it be sick if Neymar was here? I don't know. We have to see with that one. But I don't know if he'd be the target we'd want for the wages and the age and all that type of stuff. But, I mean, Neymar's still Neymar. He's still one of the greatest players in the world. So, let's see. Anyway, Wendy. Nini, can you shout out Trinidad's? Super Chat ain't available in my region, and it sucks because I watch every live stream and match stream. Been a fan since the beginning of Conte days. Wendy, I've seen you commenting on my channel like for years and years now. Obviously, I appreciate the support and the viewership, and of course the time you're taking out your day to watch me as well too. Of course, shout out to Trinidad and Tobago, of course. And yeah, I'm happy that I saw your comment, but I guess I'm just so used to seeing your comment now that my brain just kind of knows how to hone in on when you're writing to me. So I appreciate all the support, Wendy, over the years. It really means a lot. Yeah, you know what I would actually like to do? Like, let me just show you guys one thing real quick here. But before I do that, it's very unprofessional of me, but I actually have to get back to a text from my boy real quick. I'm sorry. Yo, what you saying? I'm streaming. You know? Where's my super chat? But yeah, you guys give me one sec. So you see this, yeah? You guys are seeing this PS5. Well, I had to cop another PS5. Obviously, I got my own personal one, but I had to cop a brand new, fresh one. But as you guys can see, the salad tape is still on, yeah? The salad tape is still on. Getting a little bit dusty because it's not been touched or used. Now, obviously I've been like an avid YouTube watcher over the years. One thing I've always wanted to do was to be like one of them guys that could do like a sick prize giveaway type of thing. And actually a serious, like, big prize giveaway. You know what I mean? Because obviously I know a lot of you guys have been watching my channel for a long time. Obviously I appreciate the support from everyone. And I think, like, going into the future, I like to maybe try and give back a little bit myself. Now, don't be thinking every month there's going to be PS5s that can be won. But I'm thinking, like, you know, in preparation for the new season, I've kind of got a little idea I'm scheming up currently that would involve like a little competition that will be done a bit differently. So essentially with this one, yeah, I'd be hiding like certain codes throughout my videos over, like, you know, the following weeks until the season commenced. And essentially the people, the first like 50, 100, whatever, who are able to like find the codes quickly would then enter a prize raffle draw where someone would win the PS5. Because that's what I spent £600 on of my own money, on a PS5, so someone can win that. So it's definitely something I just had to take the risk and thought, you know, it's definitely worth doing. So yeah, you know, I think starting next month, you guys are gonna start to see a bit more promotional activity, some graphics on social medias about this prize giveaway I'm looking to do. So you guys stay tuned because someone could be winning that PS5. That's what I'm saying. But anyway, moving on. I mean, I said that I was gonna be going. Flipping hell. I might have to say this a little bit long before I bounce. You know, I know there was a super chat that I missed. Let me just scroll up to find that. Joy, how are you, man? Tuchel wasting a lot of attacking threat. 4-3-3, please. All I'm really hoping, 4-3-3 for like literally 75% of the games for the season, and back five for the big games. I think best of both, because we didn't lose the league because we can't beat Liverpool or City and stuff like that. We lost the league because we're dropping stupid points against teams that we shouldn't be dropping against. So best of both worlds, in my opinion. But anyway, moving on. Mr. Nini Beast. Yeah, maybe I'm moving a bit too gas, but to be fair, you know, I've been planning this for a few months. It's not easy to get a PS5, you know. But moving on to Elias, do you think Dembele's injury struggles will be an issue? Only if we have to rely upon him week in, week out, which we shouldn't have to do, because I hope this summer we're going to buy properly, strengthen the whole squads, and we got 5 subs we can use for next season. So I don't think there should be any excuse for Tuchel, who's going to have all this freedom and power now, to be messing up with any like players, you know, overplaying, getting silly injuries in training and stuff like that, and all the typical stuff we've seen. I hope that ain't going to be the case now. But moving on to Valsagnini, Sterling or Rafael Leao? It would be Leao every single day of the week, month, decades, millennium, anything. Always Rafael Leao. Always a Rafael Leao. I mean, that's, you know, obviously, you look back as a fan, you look at certain players like Eden Hazard, and it does feel like a big privilege to be able to like watch him for so many seasons, week in, week out, playing that type of football how he plays, one of the most unique players in the world. Top 3 players in the world at the time we had him. You know, it's a big privilege to be able to have that type of talent that's playing for you, and the way they play, the excitement they bring. I think this is why football kind of exists. This is why we're paying all the money to watch these guys, and I think players like Leao and that, this is kind of why you love the game, in my opinion. But moving on to Joy again, thank you, man. Jesus, Havertz and Belly front line, Pulisic and Callum Hudson-Odoi back up. I think that's quite an interesting back line. That really is. Obviously, it depends on whether Pulisic decides to remain. But I mean, it seems like everyone's very open to him staying. It'll be down to the player. That's exactly how I'm seeing that front five potentially for next season. I think that could definitely do cause a lot of damage and do a lot of problems against teams. But moving on to Kimutai Alex, quality content day in, day out. I wish Pulisic could be as consistent as your performance-wise. I mean, you know, having my ups and downs. It's not just been consistency for like 12 months and stuff like that, which it should be. So I can't expect any more from Pulisic. I think he still has a lot of potential and more to bring. I think it'd be a bit too soon to just move him on quickly, unless the player himself decides he wants to go. But I'm definitely open to, seeing what he can do for next season for sure, man. But moving on to Nicholas Burnett. I swear down Koulibaly is key to replacing Rudiger. You're right. You know, that experience that he's bringing in, how he plays that from the back as well too, how he's imposing, commanding, a guy that you trust to win every single battle he's against. You know, I get like the Van Dijk energy from him when he's, going 1v1. I think you're talking a lot of sense too, my friend. But anyway, let's move on to Adam. Pulisic treatment is harsh. He rarely gets proper game time. You're right. So how can we expect him to perform consistently? I mean, this is the reality, and you're right. This is what it comes down to a lot of the times. It's just too much to expect that instantly, to be fair. But Italy have brought on their wonder kids. What's this guy's name? You guys, give me 1 second. Look. What was this guy's name for Italy? Been watching a bit of him recently, just trying to like keep up to speed with what you're saying. Gotti, is that it? Gotti? Let me just double check if that's his name. No, it's not Gotti. And Gonzo. Yeah. He looks like he could be a serious player. Of course, be playing for Italy this early. He's definitely doing something right. But anyway, moving on. I'm probably gonna be on literally for the next 5 minutes to keep things real with you guys. Because I got moves to make, man. I got moves to be at. Nick Carl, Nini, you are my favorite football YouTuber. No BS, straight on point. Thank you, Nick. I appreciate that, man. I really do, because you know what? When I first started YouTube, I was thinking, listen, I want to make content for guys like me that I know, you know what I mean? For guys like us, you know, we love the game, we got a passion, we like the details about how the game works as well too. We're already kind of clued up already when it comes to things as well. So just being able to have conversations around like things that we already know, I think is, I wanted to be that guy basically. So I'm happy that a lot of you guys found me. I'm happy the YouTube algorithm did something good for me for once. So yeah, I appreciate that, man. Moving on to Harry. Hey Nini, you keep passing over my questions. Harry, man, you gotta understand, there's literally just a constant flow of new chats coming in. It's, you know, it's quite hard to just like find you out of all of them. But anyway, I've found you now. Is it certain Lukaku is leaving? What are the odds of him staying? I mean, the odds depends on whether Inter Milan can find a way to afford this deal. And then maybe if they can't, you're hoping maybe Bayern Munich might come in to do something. But Lukaku is definitely, it's into or nothing. That's the energy we're getting. So he could stay if Inter Milan can't come through. So I think that's what we're literally waiting for right now, man. But thanks for the question. Moving on to Granit Razak. I feel like every stream I have to answer at least one of your questions, man. Of course, another loyal guy that's been here for time. We are also desperately needing a quality left back. Yes, my guy. This is why I have to answer your questions all the time. Renan Lodi. I mean, for me, it's a yes with Renan Lodi. The reason why I'm saying this, listen, ideally I'd give that game time to Maatsen, but I just got to be realistic. I'm trying to move away from being idealistic. I feel like maybe one of my weaknesses can be that I'm thinking too much about idealistic things that just won't happen in reality. And maybe I put too much pressure and emphasis on that. So I'm just kind of waiting to see a bit more like substance behind that before I start really pushing any idealistic like talking points. But I just think that, you know, realistically, a bit of experience looking at Ben. Of course, having pre-season is going to help him. I don't think he's going to come back super slow because of that. But I just think that I'm looking at cities and other teams, you know, and how we've struggled once we've missed out on Reece James or Ben. We need adequate support down both sides. And I think Renan Lodi, you know, knowing that he's, you know, Simeone is literally changing down that left-hand side. You've seen Carrasco there. You've seen Renato, whatever the guy's name is, who signed from Lille. You're seeing Lodi as well. I think he's the type of player that you can sign that can do something. But I'm also hearing Newcastle as well have interest in him. I think they're competing currently with Tottenham for Paqueta from Lyon. And potentially Newcastle could be like our second favourite team because they're looking to sign a lot of like, you know, flary, entertaining players. Lodi, Paqueta, Bruno Guimaraes. I mean, we've seen what he did last season. He surprised me. I thought he was a good player, but he looks a lot better and could actually play at a higher level, actually. But yeah, I think Renan Lodi for sure. I think one thing I do want to see, I swear his contracts is close to ending soon. I swear he's got like a year or two left, which means that they're not going to command like 90 mil or 80 mil or 60 mil. I think you could get him for like a fairly decent fee if there's interest there. But I just think that, you know, if we're going to be sticking back five in that, I need to see more options, you know, in those wing back areas, man. But anyway, his current market value, 27 mil, very fair. I think he's another guy similar to Jesus, where, you know, with more love, you know, with more like, you know, less competition and like more clear ideas of how he can be used, I think Renan Lodi could definitely be a sick competition signing. And it would kind of bring me back to days of like when we had like, you know, Wayne Bridge, Ashley Cole and all those types of battles down the left as well too. Like Felipe Luis, who Mourinho, listen, I understand why he had Aspi there, but it came at such a massive expense because we had one of the best left backs in the world. And for some reason, this was never used enough, which is disappointing. But I just think that, is it any surprise that when we've won the league, we've had quality competition spots in certain key positions? I don't think it is. When's this guy's contract ending? I need to find out. Renan Lodi contracts. Okay, so his contract ends in 2025 then. So he's got like another 3 years essentially. So it could cost a bit. But, you know, Atletico Madrid's, they got so many options there already. You know, I think they could survive at that. I mean, if we made that interest concrete. But realistically, I've been on now for an hour and 15 minutes. I'm going to say 5 more minutes. Yeah, 5 more minutes. I'm definitely got to bounce because the missus is starting to put pressure on me from behind the scenes. So I can't stay on here for too long. But anyway, like I said, if you want your question prioritized, man, now's your opportunity to send in them super chats so I can spend time on it. But moving on to Henry. Very good players. Sanjit, Sterling and Jesus. Yep, they could be interesting buys for us as well too. Dexter S, Hazard's brothers playing together, best thing Martinez has done for a while. Still don't understand his comment about Lukaku needing to feel important. I mean, I don't know about that because let's not act like Lukaku is like a rare example of a player that benefits and feels confidence from like real faith shown in him. I think that's kind of that's kind of standard, and I think for certain positions that come with a lot of pressure, like especially up front where you're the match winner, you are the match decider, having that extra support from your manager can just take you to a different level, to be honest. I mean, look how Conte backed Lukaku. He knew exactly how to use this guy, what his game was about, what he had to work upon to make sure he was going to go to the next level. And that only comes from a manager's love. So I think as a fans, we can say that, yeah, it's a bit childish, whatever. But I just think that it's got more significance, actually, when you're playing professionally, to be fair. But moving on, yeah, Nicholas, the classic 5 more mins. Classic. God, why am I so cliched? Nini, what are your thoughts on us getting Lautaro Martinez to unleash Lukaku and make our own Lula win-win? I'm not too sure if you're going to see that Lula win-win with us. Realistically, it seems that Inter Milan, they're close to signing, but Dybala, big boy signing. Martinez, sick player. I've always rated this guy, I think, back when he was at Banfield too, or in the Argentinian league. Lukaku there in that front three could be... I think that they definitely win Scudetto next season easily. I mean, that's just too good. It's way too good. Cooper Thompson. Like I said, today I had a very productive day. Enjoyed the sun. It's boosted my energy. I'm feeling healthier, more positive, better energy. So all the spamming comments today really are bothering me for some reason. That's not encouragement for people to keep doing it though. But it's not bothering me right now. But anyway, Cooper Thompson, how are you, man? Why aren't Chelsea going for Nkunku? 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 Nkunku. My guy, you're going Nkunku crazy right now. You're going Nkunku crazy right now. But I think that comes down to the fact that RB Leipzig are trying to get this guy to sign a new deal. We don't have the full clarifications right now, but that could be one of the unlikely ones based on the difficulty behind it. But I did release a video on that. So sometime if you guys want to like hear what my thoughts and opinions are in greater detail, just type in Blue Lines TV and your favorite player. I guarantee I got a video on him. But anyway, moving on to Tandenda. How you doing, man? Nini, long time fan. I appreciate the quality content. How do you think the 5 subs will factor in our transfer window while with bolstering our squad? I think how that's going to help us is that, you know, when you sign players, sometimes you have to gas up. You have to... you got to lie a little bit. Oh yeah, of course you're going to be playing a ton of minutes. When actually the manager's thinking, I need quality competition in this area. So you're not going to be playing every single week, but when I need you, I'm going to need you. I think with the 5 sub rule now, I kind of see it just in this type of sense. So for all the monies these guys are earning, I personally think, you know, football in a sense has been overinflated in terms of the value. The players today are not twice as good as the players from before, from even like 10, 15 years ago. Not at all. I think a lot of players have actually benefited from, you know, like the sports science and how physically demanding it is and the intensity. Now I think there's a lot of runners who are benefiting from that, but that's not translating in terms of like incredible football and skill and stuff that I thought was a lot more common when I was younger. But maybe that's just me seeing things in like a sentimental point of view. But I just think that maybe the nature of the game has changed a little bit. So I don't know. I just think that, you know, to go back to my full question, basically, it just makes more sense to offer more minutes now to a lot of guys who are on big money. So I think the 5 sub rules are definitely going to help with that. It's going to help with Tuchel a lot more now because he'll have a lot of options to use. This is a guy that will tweak things on the fly. a man just have more options from the bench, always feel a lot happier. You know what I mean? So I think I'm here literally for 2 more minutes. Then I'm about to go. Adam, a CDM is a must this summer, or we should forget about winning trophies next season. I agree. I think it seems like now is a great time to make a big statement signing move for Rice, especially if there's certain players who can move on to West Ham as well too. Flogging me look, flipping hell, lads. Instead of taking a big money gamble on Garvidio or Gavadio, I'm saying Gavidio. I know someone actually commented saying, "What are you saying? Like, you're really getting on my nerves with that mispronunciation." Gavadio or Delit. Do you think we should consider Fofana, who is Premier League proven? No, just absolutely not Fofana. Actually, at the start of the stream, I did break down why I didn't want Fofana. So maybe, man, only because I want to answer other questions before I go. Directly the first 10 minutes, you'll probably hear my thoughts on Fofana. I think, you know what, in the future, I think ideally, like going on with these streams, I'd like to maybe have someone that's able to create like timestamps for like certain points I'm talking about. Like I'm saying, the guys who are like my mods right now, I'd really appreciate that if the mods are hearing me right now. Please send me a DM on Twitter so I know specifically who you are, because it would be cool to stay in contact with things like streams and, you know, do a little bit of business together and see what happens, because it would be, you know, your help could definitely be, it could definitely make things a lot better, especially like if it's a long stream like this. If I've answered the question already, people can just find the timestamp of me talking about Fofana and boom, there's that. But anyway, moving on to NC31. Why do you think it's taking so long to get this QnA deal done? I'm not too sure. I couldn't give you any reasons. I think it's just literally finalising the final fee now with Sevilla. We know that QnA was here 2 weeks back, finalising the last details for his move here. I wouldn't be surprised if he was like looking at yards as well too and just getting familiar with how life's going to be in London. I think it'll be a very good signing for us. But it's just literally now just a bit of business and money now to get this over the line. And I think now I'm going to answer my final question before I wrap things up. Keep things moving. Okay, I think that's going to go to... Who's that going to go to? Okay, I'm going to end with Elias in it. Who are your favourite common players? Who are you most excited for? Now, of course, one guy I do like is Webster. I think he's a good player. I've always liked June Sabel. I think some of the other guys who like that Anderson guy, the Swedish winger we signed, looks like a good player. Who else do I like? I don't know if I have like a main favourite, but there's a few ones I'm interested in. I feel like, I don't know, I'm forgetting names at this point in time. I thought Lewis Hall looked promising. Let's see what he does. But I think Webster, I think he's a guy that I'd hope could probably get a few more mins. To be honest, I think that could be ideal. He's got that bit of flair to his game. Of course, got to give a shout out to Derek Abu. We've got another guy in the conveyor belt of great right backs coming out from the club. Of course, released a fire song as well too. Took me by surprise, to be fair. But Derek Abu, definitely a sick player. But yeah, you know, I do like Edwin Anderson as well too. I think he's on point. Another exciting guy too, Leo Castledine. Looks like a real like leader in that midfield. Great quality in midfield, great shooting technique. You know, we got some talent coming through. We got some talent coming through, man. But I think right now, you guys, I think I got to love you and leave you. You know, I got to live my life now. I got to get ready for this move tonight. You know, barbecue at this time, of course. It's gonna be on to the early hours of the morning. My girls actually just got me my bottle of Glenfiddich as well too, so I'm gonna like turn up a little bit tonight. So you guys, thank you for watching, and of course, if you want to see more of these Q&A streams, I feel like there has to be like a healthy balance. I don't know if it'd be like an everyday thing, but if it was like potentially like 2-3 times a week, does that seem quite reasonable to you guys? If so, please, of course, let me know in the comment section right now, so I can definitely get an impression of what some of you might are thinking. But yeah, thank you for watching and thank you for staying along with me today. And tomorrow, expect to see the collaboration with me and Eunice Talks Football. I think you guys are going to enjoy this video. It's going to be dropping around afternoon time. And thank you to everyone that's shown love over the years watching me, that always supports me. You know, the content is in the streams, and of course the super chat donations as well too. Yeah, I mean, this summer is just, yeah, I got different energy for this summer and things are looking exciting. So you guys, on that note, I'm Nini FC. This is Blue Line CV.